What's up, guys? So, I know this is an unusually late, or I should say early, time for me to be streaming, but I wanted to do something a little different and kind of relive my times last year when me streaming at this time used to be the norm. Actually, it was around like 10 p.m. Eastern time and all that. And I realized that I kind of miss it. I miss that peace of the night and that the dimness to my setting. So I said I would give this a try and also give an opportunity to those of you who cannot usually catch me at my earlier days or earlier time of the day. And yeah, hopefully some of you guys can make it because I don't want you to feel like I'm not trying to interact with you. It's just that it's difficult when you have a schedule that you don't really have control over. But, anyways, I'm here and I thought that I would bring you the thoughts that I had today because I realized that this is something I struggle with, and I happened to have done a stream on this, and it happened to be in this very room. So I guess this is going to be appropriate. And I see that Jordan is here. Well, hello to you. It's good to have you on board. Okay, so what am I talking about tonight? So I have mentioned a few times that I am someone who has difficulty getting up in the morning. It's like I can sleep, not for that many hours, but for some reason I cannot get up, be on my feet, and moving. Usually I get up between 30 minutes to 3 hours after I have woken up. And I remember a time in my life when this used to not happen to me. It started to be a thing probably after I finished school. Maybe it's because during school days, of course, you had to go to bed early, and mom was policing my bedtime pretty strictly. But I realized how much of a good habit that was, and of course, during the summer, I had full control of my time. I would go to bed whenever I wanted. But even then, I find that I have been a pretty lethargic person. It's just difficult for me to get up at a time for myself whenever there's nothing important going on. Like on my days off, I let all of that time go wasted, and then when I am not off, I am begging to be off. But when my day off is here, I don't do anything with my time. So I end up frustrated and down and depressed about the fact that I wasted all that time. And I just wish I had a technique to make that not affect me because no matter what it is, even if I have something absolutely delicious waiting for me for breakfast that I'm looking forward to that I bought the day before or something, that is not enough motivation for me to get up. So, why is it so difficult for me? It's a combination of being constantly tired, and some of it is not even physical exhaustion, it's more of a I'm just so mentally drained that it seems to also zap some of my energy in a weird way. And I just wish I knew how to counter that because a lot of my time, a lot of my days have turned into months and possibly collectively into years that I have wasted so much time just being lethargic like that. And I know that it's normal to like to sleep, but I don't think that you are meant to be like that for extended periods of time. But, anyways, so that's one example of something that I struggle with. How do I get started on my day? Just getting up and moving. I guess that my room makes it difficult to want to get up anyway, because for starters, it's upstairs, and on top of that, it's a huge mess. Like, ever since I moved to this place, this was like 4 years ago. It's about to be 5 years. I still have not really put a real organized and tidy setup for my room. And honestly, it's because I really don't have furniture. I don't like to have furniture, but because I move a lot. But also, um, I'm just not very good at organizing things because I have a little bit of a hoarding problem with some things, and particularly clothes. So it's like the issue with my clothes is that I'm running out of space in my closet. So, of course, I'm trying to get rid of anything that I'm not using. But at the same time, it's like when I'm determined to get rid of stuff, I'm like, oh no, I will seriously wear that next season and this and that. And of course, I never end up doing so. But it's just weird because nowadays I find myself buying hangers, and that's not fixing the problem because my closet certainly is like at capacity. And it's just weird for me. Like, what happened to me when I was younger? I did not have this problem. So why is it that I have become someone who's just hoarding a lot? I used to not fear getting rid of things, but now even getting something that simple started, such as putting my clothes away after I come back from the laundry, I do not enjoy working with clothes. So I avoid that like it's the devil staring at me with like horns protruding and the tail and the trident and everything, or the pitchfork, whatever it is that the depiction is established as. So yeah, I thought I would just share that with you because I wouldn't like to present myself like I lived this perfect life and like I'm flawless and all that. I am definitely a big mess, and I know that everyone is. So I just want you to know that I'm not that different. Let me catch up with what you guys are saying. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than a few hours ago because it seems that I ate something that I wasn't supposed to, and I just got extremely sick toward the end of my workout. And now I'm feeling a whole lot better. But it's some fish that I ate. I decided to eat salmon for the first time since maybe Octoberish. And this fillet that I got, it looked kind of weird, but I was just hungry. I didn't have time. It was looking not the hue that I'm used to, like that orangey hue. It had like a faded appearance to it. And then also, I thought it was my imagination because I have been having my moments being congested and stuff. But when I got it out of the wrapper, I felt like I smelled something about it was off, but again, I just could not identify it. I just needed to eat. So I want to blame my sickness on that fish that I ate. So if you hear me sounding a little weirder and maybe even looking sluggish, I'm not necessarily tired because it's past midnight. It's more of a I'm still getting over my symptoms, but I feel like the worst definitely happened because I was not this energetic a couple of hours ago. But it's just weird because now I'm thinking about everything that I ate, and I'm like, no, it has to be that fish because that fish was the only thing that was off. And I definitely know how to cook, so it's not that I got food poisoning because I undercooked it or something. No, it is impossible to mess up salmon. So, but anyways, I'm feeling a whole lot better, so I appreciate you asking. Merry Christmas. I cannot sleep, but I can get up easy. Oh my God, you are. We have the opposite problem. I can sleep like a bear, but it's interesting. Although I tend to sleep for no more than 5 hours, no matter how hard I try, it's not like I cannot accomplish deep sleep. Because when I fall asleep, I am out. So I always jokingly but semi seriously tell mom, Mommy, if there is ever a situation in which the house is on fire and the alarms are going off, do not assume that I am hearing that and I am saving my life because I do not get awakened by anything. I mean, my mom can wake me up whenever she when I tell her let's do something mega early tomorrow, but wake me up if you're up before me. She can open the door and say my name and I will respond to it and get up much better than if I try to get up by the sound of my alarm or something. But my mom has been like, "Did you hear everything that happened outside?" And I'm like, "No, what happened outside?" She was like, "Yeah, there was like this argument and this and that, and even the police was out there, and even a fire truck or something. Like people were loud. Did you not catch any of that?" And I'm like, "Hell no." So that, and I usually do not remember dreams. It is rare that I remember a dream these days. So, yeah, my sleep pattern is just extremely questionable. It's not even I can comprehend it. La 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 la. Hi, mate. Hey, mate, just for your information, you'll notice I've not been on Twitter. Got a 14-day Bat Boy time out. You know what? It's funny that you're here, Viking. Good to see you, by the way, because I decided to check your page because I noticed that I still have yet to get to your messages that you sent me like 2 months ago about stuff I inquired about regarding Tasmania. And I'm like, where did Viking go? I feel like he hasn't been active. I haven't seen anything from you. So I noticed that the last activity on your page was probably from some profile that you reposted something on, that they posted something the day after Thanksgiving. And I remember when you posted something about Thanksgiving, and I'm like, am I tripping or is he gone? So because I have been doing bad about keeping track of people, apparently, like good old Lionheart. I'm like, let me check just to be sure. And then I wondered, but I felt that you were there somewhere, just not in Twitterland. But it's interesting. I'm glad to see you here, at least, because I did wonder what happened. It was unusual, and I guess I am just spoiled by your constant present and whatnot. So I'm like, hey, where did Viking go? So yeah, good to see you. I appreciate you reporting yourself. I hated school in the morning back in the day. It was rough. You know what? For me, getting up for school was never particularly challenging. Probably because I genuinely liked school. I liked to go there and study. I liked my teachers. My classmates were kind of meh, but I had like a few people who I was excited about going to see, and really the fact that I loved what I did, which is writing, studying, learning, asking questions, being curious, that was very suitable for my personality. So maybe that's why I never had any trouble getting up for school. But yeah, it's just weird. What happened to me? Like, why do I not find the stuff going on in my life now appealing enough for me to want to get up early and be out there? Whenever I manage to get up and leave the house before 11 a.m., to me that is a huge accomplishment if I'm not working, because usually I just get really lazy and I just lay in bed doing nothing at all, you know? So, of course, that should change. If I have any hope of progressing in life, I should definitely start hustling a little earlier, but I mean, what can I say? I guess I don't have that spirit in me, or at least not yet, or maybe it's just weak. I miss your room. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you caught this earlier in the stream, but this time last year, this is where I used to stream from. So I felt like a little nostalgic, and I said, let me try a different setup, and also this light is significantly dimmer, so that means that after this I am immediately rolling into bed, and that should not give me problems sleeping since it's a warm kind of color, whereas the light that I have in my room is like directly above me and it has like four light bulbs in it. I guess I could turn some of them, but you know, who wants to go through that trouble? Let's do something different. Where am I at? It's rough to clean and organize a place, especially when there are other things to do and a lot of stuff. Yeah, like for me, it's a combination of work plus being tired and being sick, because usually this is the season when I'm sick. And you guys have heard me say, oh, I have stomach issues. Oh, I am dealing with a congestion. Oh, I am dealing with allergies. I am dealing with rashes, this and that. So it's like I never seem to get a break. So when I do have time off, I am not thinking about doing anything that remotely resembles work. Like sometimes there's like leaves from the fall that just blow into my front door little walkway, and I do not feel like sweeping that up until it's very obvious that I could make a carpet out of the leaves that have blown into the house. And it's because it's not that it doesn't bother me. Of course it bothers me. I'm a pretty neat and clean person, but I do a lot of sweeping and cleaning and all that at work. So to come to my house and have to do more work, that's not exactly inspiring, especially when my time off these days is very limited. That time is just so precious to me that I would rather avoid that stuff until I'm like, okay, it's becoming a hazard. Let me do something about it. But but yeah, it's weird how stuff just works out. Ideally, I would just have energy all the time, but let's face it, sometimes you just want to do better things with your time, you know. But anyways, I'll get to it eventually, and if I don't get to it in this apartment, maybe next time I move, which is not in my plans, at least not within the next year. Maybe at my new place I will organize things better, but for right now, that is not affecting me in any way except psychologically. I'm like, I wish this mess would just go away. But the weird thing is that I don't have that many things. Like, if I were to give you guys a room tour, you would see that my problem is just I have clothes that are in absolute excess, and I should just get rid of a lot of that. But if you look at my room, it's actually pretty plain. There's just a bed and then plastic boxes and drawers for my clothes to go into. And then on the floor, there's clothes as well because I don't have enough hangers and space in my closet for some of them. So what I do is anything that I wear for work, I just toss on the floor so that I wear at the gym, sweat really good on it, and then that's when I put it in the hamper. But but yeah, other than that, in those other plastic boxes that I have, it's my video games and some books, which I am so getting rid of because I just don't read books like that these days. And there's the information contained in those books is not something that I cannot access online. So I'm like, okay, hey, I told myself that if this froze, I would try something. Let me try something. Does that make it better? That's whack. I froze again, and I was hoping that if that happened, I could do a little something to make the picture start moving again. Are you going to cooperate? No, apparently not. Oh well, guys, you're gonna have to bear with me and my frozen image because I don't have a way to fix it, goddammit. And of course, starting a new stream is just not acceptable. What a bummer. I'm getting tired of that. But anyways, guys, as I was saying, I just do not want to do anything that resembles work, and cleaning is definitely uh it. Wait, how do I get that window to go away? Oh my god, what have I done? Anyways, whatever. I'll just pretend it's not there. Uh, let me see. Where am I at? Oh, that's good. You're doing good, and I have never had salmon in my life. You've never had salmon in your life? Well, honestly, to be absolutely truthful with you, that is the only fish that I trust ingesting in this nation. Because for some reason, every other fish just doesn't look appetizing. And even when I could mess with shrimp before I became intolerant of it, I was not very wowed about it. So I tried salmon for the first time back in 2010. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I like this. It's lemony. Like, if you use lemon juice on it, it's really good. And I said, I think I have a fish that I can mess with now. So that is always my go to fish. So you should try it sometime. Nothing worse than tainted fish. Oh, tell me about it. It's weird because, like I said, how did I fail to recognize that? Like, I noticed it, but I decided to, like, ignore it. I'm like, okay, this, the integrity of this fish is questionable. And while I was standing right there at the counter, I kept looking at it and looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And, oh, I'm sorry, Jordan. I think I accidentally deleted one of your messages. Oops. Yeah, this window, I don't know how to make it go away, so I may accidentally touch something I don't mean to. I'm sorry. But yeah, um, and like I said, it looked different, and when I got home, it was smelling some type of way, but because I was a little congested, I did not think I could trust my senses, so I decided to roll with it, and I was in a hurry, so yeah, stupid decisions. Just always make sure that if your gut tells you something doesn't look right or feel right, just don't ignore it, because you end up like me, you get sick and you regret it, and then you have to overcome these symptoms and you have a miserable time. But anyways, and food that's bad is so dangerous for the body, but whatever. I'm here and I don't feel like I'm dying. So it'll be alright. I'm not tripping. Um yeah, I wish I could make that message come back, but I don't know how to. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a way of making it come back. Oops. Um I can take a nap easy, but at night times it's crazy. Yeah, sometimes I can take naps during the day too. It has to be I am absolutely beat, but I try to not do it because that'll absolutely make me be unable to sleep later. So I like to avoid it like the plague. You have an amazing mother. I sure agree with that statement. Just watch one of your videos. Happy to catch you live. Well, hello. I love that because the whole reason I'm trying to stream at a different time is to give folks an opportunity to catch me live. So I'm glad that you were able to make it. So good to see you, Majestic Marisa. Hello, you gorgeous angel. Oh, you always have the sweetest stuff to say to me, Holger. Good to see you. It was a challenge to me, like WWE, WrestleMania. I never did like school, but I laughed so much in class. Oh my god, now that you mentioned that, I keep thinking about the folks who used to annoy me in school because they were the class clowns, and therefore they interrupted the teacher and upset the teacher, so then we would have to do assignments that weren't originally in the teacher's plans just as punishment, and I felt like that was disrupting my learning. But nowadays I have so much appreciation for the memories of those trolls from back then, because they were the people who could make you laugh, they were entertaining, they had energy, they were the life of the classroom. Whereas now that I am older and I have a job and I deal with adults so much and I am one myself, it's like, why are people mummies? Why are people zombies? Where's your sense of humor? Damn, you know? So yeah, I have a lot of appreciation now for those people who, although they ruined my school experience a little bit, at least they were people who were fun to be around. So yeah, there is stuff to learn from people like that. So I'm just glad that now I can look back and be like, you know what? That fool was being a clown at an inappropriate time, but I am glad that they had spirit, you know? Wolfus Creeps in the live chat. Hello, good to see you. So, while you are here, Wolfus, I guess I should inform you that I did think about you outside that stream, and hopefully, my visit to your channel convinced you of that. But yeah, I felt bad. I couldn't stop thinking about you because I'm like, how did I forget about you? I feel like a terrible person. You were literally there the whole time, and then I did not like notice that you were gone. I'm a terrible person. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to tell you that if you for some reason want to get my attention, you don't need to try so hard. All you have to do is drop a comment. It'll take me a little bit of a century with a side of eternity to get back to you, but I'll get back to you. No need to, what is it that you do? Unsub and resub and unsub and subify and then all that stuff. Yeah, don't you worry, I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, it may take me a while to get back to you, but you know I get back to you. There's people who I haven't replied to their emails from 4 months ago. But it doesn't mean that I have forgotten. I am delayed, but you're never forgotten. Let's see, where did I stop at? I wish I could like put a marker on which comment I end so I don't have to like scramble to catch up. Last day of school, I'm always getting up at 6:30 a.m. back in the day. You know what? The last day of school, it was lit. I always felt like I had the most energy that day out of any other day of the week. But anyways, so yeah, guys. I will catch up with the rest of your comments, but I am going to continue talking about what the topic of the video is because there's some stuff that I just wanted to mention. Another thing that I feel like is challenging for me to get started sometimes is the process of winding down from my day. And I guess the reason that's difficult is because how do you even determine at what time you should start winding down? How do you even wind down? For me, of course, I like to watch stuff on YouTube or even make stuff on YouTube, but sometimes I feel like I just need space and time away from influences, and YouTube videos can definitely influence you in some way or like stimulate that little section in your brain that makes you overthink about stuff in life and it makes you reflect, and in a way that's a form of work. And although listening to, say, a documentary can definitely knock me out because I have fallen asleep to documentaries that happen to be in a playlist, and then I wake up and it's been 3 episodes. So that's, let's see, 120 minutes that I've been knocked out for, and then I'm like, holy shit, how is my phone still alive? And it's telling me that it's like 9% uh charged or something. Or other times it's I leave it plugged in and I'm like, what the hell is so hot in my belly right now? And I look and it's my phone still unlocked with videos going. I was blacking out without any warning. So I guess for me, the best unwinding is the unplanned unwinding. But sometimes I wish that I could start winding down on command because there are times when I need to absolutely sleep and be relaxed, but I cannot calm myself down at all. So I just wish that I had a better technique for that. And I also have a nasty habit of overeating sometimes out of anxiety or stress or nervousness. So I have learned to do better about that, but I am in no way perfect at that. Another thing that I remember, and to this day it kind of gets me sometimes when it comes to getting stuff started, is assignments. Let it be school assignments or personal assignments or even mom's assignments to me, like, would you please take this with you and drop it off at the mailbox in the post office? And I'm like, that's a lot of work. I have to get sidetracked. I have to tackle 11 o'clock traffic, 3 o'clock traffic, 5 o'clock traffic. Like, mom, why do you do this to me? But interestingly enough, at work, I never have issues initiating an assignment. But I guess when it comes to assignments that involve more brain work, I like to have a beginning point. Like, say, if I am going to research about history, history is probably the biggest subject out there. So, where the hell do I start? When should I start? What should I spend time on? How do I even begin to determine that? So, it doesn't get easy because the more time that passes, the more history that there is to explore. So, as an anxious person, I'm like, I don't want to be spending too much time learning about a history that is not useful. See what I mean? So, I guess I'm the own creator of a lot of my misery, right? Like, just if I'm going to spend time learning about something, just be happy and satisfied that I'm taking the time to learn about something as opposed to obsessing over whether what I'm learning is worthy or is a waste of time or whatnot. Just if I like to learn, I like to learn, period. But if I'm going to study about something in history, I like to have a starting point and not just blindly go into it. So yeah, if you wonder about anything specific, let's say that I want to study about I don't know, how the United States began. So of course you want to start from back in those years when the pilgrimages were taking place and whatnot. But what if I want to skip that and go to like a century later? What about a century later should I learn about? Because clearly, if I have so many questions about the past, that means that school did not do its job at educating me on history. So basically, how do I determine a good starting point? That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, so I'm going to catch up with a few more comments and then I shall continue. La 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 la. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? To be truthful, no, because I am the kind of person who, if I want to do something, I get it done, period. So the most popular resolution that I hear is people saying that they want to lose weight. Okay, why are you waiting until literally the worst time of the year, which is when all these festivities and parties and dinners and lunches and brunches and pie eating and all those disorders associated with the holidays is taking place. I would think that if you genuinely want to have your perfect body, let it be for uh what is it, vanity reasons or health reasons, whatever, you would have gotten it done. But what about the new year is going to make it be the definitive thing, the definitive moment of you fulfilling your goal? See what I mean? I think that if you're genuinely interested in making that type of a change for the betterment of your life, you will get it done. You don't need to wait until January the 1st to be like, okay, new year, new me. I am conquering the world this time. Like, no, the fuck you're not. If you haven't done it yet, you need serious evaluation because there is just something wrong with you. Just, so that's why I don't like to say that I have New Year's resolutions, because anything that I do not get done in 2018, it'll just roll over. My goals will still be the same. My wants and needs will definitely still be the same because this is December. So usually during the course of my life, stuff like that doesn't just change within a month or overnight. So I am pretty certain that the stuff that I am working on, that I am just striving for, it's gonna be there in 2019. So yeah, I just like to own it. If there's something that I want to get done, I own it immediately. And I don't have to wait for the calendar to tell me when is the appropriate time. The appropriate time is as soon as I get the idea to improve something. See what I mean? So, yeah, New Year's resolutions, I don't have any. But if I were to express what is something that I would just like to get better on, I guess I mentioned it, which is not waste so much time. I wake up, get moving, especially on my days off. And on the days that I work, I would very much love to get up immediately after my alarm goes off, because what's happening is I waste the first 30 minutes that I'm awake and I give myself exactly an hour to get ready, to get up, get dressed, brush teeth, drive to work, pick up breakfast, etc. So I'm wasting a lot of time, and I just don't want to waste that much time. That's all I'm saying. I like your living room, just that your home is a classic. Mine is not to be in the house as much. On the note of not being in the house so much, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I have always wanted to explore the places I live at, and I just never do because naturally I'm not a very outgoing person. I am very shy. I am all right with being reclusive, but at the same time, I just wish that I could get out more, because there's plenty of stuff to see, plenty of people to talk to, plenty of things to do, but I just cannot find it in me to get up and do it. So lately, what I have been doing is asking some colleagues on dates, like, hey man, do you want to grab some lunch with me? Hey girl, do you want to, go see this and that? So I'm trying to be more proactive in that department, but taking that first step still demands a lot of my energy, effort, time, and overcoming my shyness. but but yeah, I'm not going to say that's a resolution, because it is a personality trait of mine to be in the house and secluded and all that, then I cannot really make that a goal. But I don't know. I don't know. It bothers me mildly that I don't go out, but it doesn't bother me more than it bothers me. Does that make sense? So that's why I don't feel desperate about changing that. and not on my phone all the time. Oh my god, yes, we are so enslaved to these little screens. But honestly, I don't even mind it because when I was younger, I loved to play video games day and night. So at least me being glued to my phone is I am either reading something that's educational, watching something that's educational, texting someone who is feeding an idea, or I am feeding their idea, and I'm doing something that I enjoy also, which is writing. I like to think, I like to share my thoughts, and the phone really makes it easy for you to do that. Like, there is no way that I would be nearly as creative as I am presently if I did not have my phone to record and do and make these videos and whatnot. So it has helped me meet people who have given me so many great ideas and been there for me when I needed someone. So in a sense, the phone is something that it can be your best ally or your worst ally. It depends on how you look at it. And for me, it's definitely my best ally. And I actually have a lot of self control in the sense that when I am at work, for example, I can leave it upstairs in my locker and not visit it for 8 hours. Whereas I see people who have their phones in their pockets and they're always trying to find a way to, in a very sneaky way, peek at it, look at it, use it. And I'm like, why are you so addicted to that little handheld device from the devil? Let it go for like a third of your day. You can do it, it is possible. Please try it. So, so it's interesting that you mentioned that you would like to be spending less time on your phone. I completely can understand why you say such a thing. Huh. Let's see, where am I at? Wolfus be creeping, TP toes, TP toes. Wolfus is waiting for the right moment to hijack Zamri's live chat. Well, please try. Zamri is in her ranting mode. This could take a while. Oh, yes. Loving your frozen image. Oh, yeah. I just want for it to just look perfect. But at least I didn't blink. So I don't look like something from another planet. You know what I mean? It's like, you ever watch a YouTube video and you pause it while someone is talking and they have the creepiest face ever? Yo, I should do a compilation of that. I'll consider it. But yeah, I have paused videos at just the right time to where the person looks like unearthly. They look otherworldly. So yeah, we need to make a video about that. I'll try to get working on it. It'll be a good video for sure. Oh no, not again. Is, but it is fine. We're still a fan of you. Yay! Zam's frozen image is my new screensaver. Oh man. I just took a snapshot of that. Oh, you guys are crazy. I never did Zamri have that one fish, but I do want to try. It's healthy and fish is brain food. Yeah, supposedly salmon is supposed to have like the omega 3s that supposedly are so good for you. And I say supposedly because it's something that I'm like, okay, I eat it. It's a part of my diet on occasion, but it's not like I can confirm that eating salmon really does it for me. But I mean, if people say that it's healthy, then it's because they have studied it enough to come to that conclusion. And I am an absolute believer in nutrition and all that, but I'm not qualified to have an extensive input. That's what I'm trying to say. It's fine, Zambri, don't be sorry, it's fine. I'm gonna start a live stream right after this, and my topic will be Zambri Frozen Image. And you better believe that I'm going to check it out. I love teaser Zam Zam. Yes, good old days. No Zamri, you're a blessing person, super beautiful. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Wolfus is now unsubscribing to Zam Zam. Well, it's your loss, not mine. Zamri, can you talk about fighting in schools? I see so much fighting back in the 90s and 2000s. You know what, Jordan? Tweet me about it or post a comment about it, and I shall do a stream exclusively on that, focusing on that. Because, yeah, that wasn't even a topic that I had planned, so I'm glad that you mentioned it. It gave me an idea. But you're right, school has changed and it keeps changing. Of course, just like everything in life changes as time progresses, but there are some behaviors that have surfaced that I feel need to be addressed. So yeah, definitely. Just tweet at me or something to serve as my reminder, and I'll get to it soon enough. Wolfus is now subscribing again to Zamzam. Wolfus hits the unlike button of Zamri. I am cracking myself up here. Taking time to yourself is the best thing to talk to God, relaxing in the house, or watching different movies every day before, or just thinking about the future more than the past. Yeah, I'm someone who unfortunately I dwell on my past a lot, and it's because I like to reflect on it and see the ways that I can improve to avoid it from possibly creeping into my present again. But but yeah, looking at the future is so difficult for me because you can make plans all that you want, but at the end of the day, life has so many twists and turns that no amount of planning and good intentions and whatever the heck is not a guarantee that the future is going to be exactly as I'm planning it, you know? So I just like to look at the past for things to inspire me, but also to let go and see how I have grown. So, if that makes sense. Okay, guys, I'm going to now go back to the stuff that I seem to struggle to get started on, or just continue my rambling on that, and I shall return to the comments shortly. Okay, so another thing that I thought about is planning or preparing stuff in general. Like preparing a meal, planning for a trip, planning for a wedding, planning for a job interview or starting a new one. Just planning anything, preparing for anything is something so incredibly difficult for me because I like to get stuff going the day off or the day before. Because I feel like, say, when it comes to weddings, for the people who really go for extravagant stuff, you cannot sit there and tell me that you enjoy the stressful aspect of putting together this thing. At some point, it gets annoying, it gets irritating, and I guess you just have to be born loving that stuff to not mind it. But for me personally, I like to live a pretty stress free life, and something that requires planning and preparing is definitely not the way for me to go. So I thought that I would mention that just for the sake of mentioning it. But yeah, every time I prepare for a trip, you better believe that I'm that one person who all I do ahead of time is buy the ticket to wherever it is that I am going to. Because, I need to make sure that there's a spot for me in the plane and that at least it's a little cheaper the month before or so, I have heard. But when it comes to actually preparing for the trip, bitch, I do that the night before every single time because I know that I am not going to sleep anyway because my anxiety starts acting up. So I'm not tripping. I'm not sweating it. I have never forgotten anything. I have never regretted leaving everything for the night before. what better way to live than that? Being carefree. I'm not careless, I am carefree, which means I know how to pick the things that are going to demand my focus to be highly efficient. And planning for a trip that is not even there yet is not one of them. So yeah, I thought that I would mention that because I know that not everyone responds in the same manner to preparing for stuff. And don't get me wrong, having a plan, having an agenda, and following it is a very good thing. But there is stuff that you overthink that definitely, in my opinion, does not deserve so much attention. So I thought that I would just randomly throw that out there for anyone to just relate to or not. And then moving to a new place, starting the process of looking for a new place to live, saving up to move, because I don't know if you guys have a lot of experience with moving, but moving can get expensive very quickly. So, how do you even begin to put that together? That gives me so much anxiety. Like, oh yeah, which place? What if this place doesn't have a new apartment? I want to call, but I don't want to be that caller who doesn't understand a conversation over the phone. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I talk on the phone, it is so difficult to understand the other person on the line because they probably do not practice good phone etiquette. So a lot of my time on the phone is spent going like, "What? I'm sorry, you sound distant. You don't sound clear. I'm sorry, you're skipping this and that." It's lame. It's ridiculous. It disrupts my thinking flow. So I end up discouraged very, very quickly. So that's why I thought I would mention that. Let's see. Where am I at? La, 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 la. Just joking around. Zambri, I cannot find your smoothie video, but I will find it. Huh! You cannot find my smoothie video. How about this? Once again, if you can, tweet me about it and I will look for it. Because it should not be difficult to find. Or, as a matter of fact, in YouTube, I have a playlist of food. I think it's called Trying Foods or Cooking. Maybe I also have a like a cooking playlist. Peek at those. Maybe I did put them there. I don't update those playlists very often, admittedly, but maybe. But I promise you, I made a smoothie video, and I remember because back then my phone did not have a lot of memory, and I took the time to clear it out to have memory to film that. So it's there. And I also remember that I cut the parts where the blender was on. So yeah, there is a smoothie video. There should be two smoothie videos actually. But anyways, if you cannot find it, just tweet me about it and I'll be glad to find it. Zambri is the queen of girl talking power level 1000 Dragon Ball reference. Do you think that I do not recognize that that is a Dragon Ball reference? Boy, bye. Okay, I'll shut up and go back to just silently lurking here. I love the nerd emoji so much because it looks like me. I love history, the way clocks came out in 1656. Amazing. God wants us to move on no matter what year it is, and you're right, Zamri. People need to change now, not just next year. Thirsty much. Being you only is a blessing. My feet is cold. Oh my god, mine are too. But it's probably from that giant hole that my socks have. Seriously, who has socks that doesn't have a hole in like the fat toe? Because I never have intact socks. And it also doesn't help that my nails, they seem to be fertilized somehow because they grow so fast. So, but yeah, it's the season. For whatever reason, I just threw a random comment. Zambri, I don't like to party, but I need to play video games again. I'm homesick of Nintendo 64. Oh, I have the N64 and I played it about 3 months ago because someone sent me a classic game that I very much enjoyed. And that classic game that I very much enjoyed that is so much worse than I remember, but it was entertaining. It's called Cruising World. Seriously, how did I love that game so much? It's so linear. Uh, yeah, yeah. No one should even own that game. That should be a game for you to rent or something. Let's see. Where am I at? Oh god, I scrolled way too far. Okay. Um, wait, I lost my spot again. Dang it. Okay, here I am. Zambri, I don't like to party. Okay. Zambri, I like the way you're being yourself is very good to me. Most people hate that people are not followers. Yes, I love making ideas, writing poems, praying to God, and taking care of business for the future. You write poems. When I was a teenager, I used to write poems, and of course, they were pretty terrible. but I loved that so much. And actually, I assigned someone with the task of writing a poem for me about 3 weeks ago, and I am still waiting. But whatever, who am I to give them a tough time? What do I do for them, right? So, but the reason I asked that is because anytime I message someone or text someone or just talk to someone, you can tell when they're very good with words based on the way that they express themselves. So I was like, you know what? You're a good writer. You actually write, you edit, you proofread, you you're good at storytelling. So you should be good at writing poems. And then I realized that just because you are specialized in one area of writing doesn't make you specialized in everything. So this person, of course, admitted to me that they do not really dominate the poetic genre, but I'm like, you can always try. You may discover that you're actually better at it than you're giving yourself credit for. But, if I really wanted a poem, I would actually take the time, put in some effort, and write it myself. But I'm like, when it comes to writing, it depends on what my intent is when I write. Because usually, when I write, it's to do a personal account, tell my story. It's not like I am coming up with words of fiction. I'm not trying to come up with like love letters or something. That's just not my writing style. My style is very informal, very flexible, nonfiction, and it's always kind of in the form of a like autobiography. That is the best way to describe it. So, of course, I'm not going to be poetic. And also, do you guys think it's important for a poem to rhyme? I think it's part of the fun of the sorry, I think it's part of the fun, but I don't think that it is absolutely necessary. So yeah, that's how I feel about poems. Now that you mentioned them. Okay. Where am I at? You're welcome. I will tweet you about it. I will tweet you about it. Zambri looks like she about to go fix the roof or something. Yeah, this is my lumber jacket because I don't fuck with this cold. I mean, yeah, I am pretty tolerant and pretty cold resistant, but I just like to be warm and cozy, and I don't play games with the weather. Yes, I'm like, hey, just making a plan is fun, but sometimes people do change their plans. A plan is all you need with moving. Yeah, you're right about that, changing your plans. That happens super often, and It's not a bad thing at all, but yeah, I just wish that I could stick to some plans sometimes because I have to be able to follow something, some kind of discipline. But I don't like to plan probably because of that, because I know that I will change all the time. So I'm like, man, why bother? Why bother with plans? I feel like plans hinder me from time to time. So I just like to take risks. Um, no, plan B. Me is always faith in God to making plan A, and I want to move to LA. I'm in Michigan all my life and see the world more. Cool, thanks. I will find your video and I want to chill. How old school video games. And I want to chill and write poetry too. I believe your poems are beautiful. That's what today's music needs to be. Fact, not fiction. Old school music is way better, beyond better. Now, I'm not trying to say that I have something against fiction. Not at all. It's just that the way that I am wired personally is if I am spending time reading about something, finding out about something, educating myself about something, I like to not be deceived because fiction can propose great ideas and it's good for the mind and entertaining and whatnot, and it can teach a lesson, but I like for it to be in practical terms. And fiction, you need to put some thinking to it, and it may leave it open to too many interpretations. And I just like to have straightforward answers. So, um, like, especially with imagery and metaphors and similes, it's like, okay, the author can mean so many things, but I don't want for anything in a piece of writing to be a mystery to me. I want for the intent to be absolutely clear. Not everyone is going to be able to pick up on what the author is saying. So, say if I were to publish something today and something happens to me tomorrow, I would like for people to be able to understand what I wrote, as opposed to having many questions, having many debates, being unclear on something, and your main source, me, is unavailable for posterity, for you to clear up anything. So basically, when I write something, I like for my message to be absolutely clear. No questions asked. It probably gets old, boring, and dull because it's not triggering any thoughts, any debating or anything. I'm making it very clear and obvious. Whereas, say, when you have a mystery that generates conversations amongst people and debates, and it makes the world go round and be fun, but that's just not my style. So that's what I'm trying to say. Everyone is just different, and I guess that's the way I handle my writing. Ew, Zami said the F word, that's naughty. Fuck yes. uh, that's amazing. I will send you one of my poems. Please do. Naughty girls get spanked. I know I know what you're saying about fiction. I love comic books, fantasy, but facts are more amazing. And you know me, I love me some fiction stuff because I watch like movies about superheroes, and most of the movies that I watch, of course, are fictional. Um, and even the ones that are based on a true story are not 100% accurate, so they may have fictional elements themselves. But it's not my style. I can challenge myself with it. I just prefer to write about myself or talk about myself. And no, I am not like, I don't want to say that I'm self absorbed and I worship myself too much. And it's just, it's what I like to do. If I don't tell my story, who's going to tell my story? And it's not like I'm dying for that kind of recognition. But say, when I have kids, they're going to ask me about how my life was. and something may happen to me to where my memory and recollection is just not the same. So to avoid that from happening, how about if I spend the time during my prime writing about it, and that way that's the legacy that I can pass on to them. And at least the channel exists, so as long as the internet exists and YouTube as well, they may even have it listen to some of the stuff that I posted here. But see what I mean? Just leave a mark, leave your footprint, because for me personally, I would give anything to be able to converse with my grandparents again and ask them specific things, but unfortunately, I won't be able to since they have passed on. So, if I were to pass on and I have grandchildren, I would like for them to know about me as much as they can. And if I make my thoughts accessible to them, they may be able to infer what my opinion would have been possibly on a matter that is new based on the time that they're living in, if that makes sense. The most amazing is Zamri. I don't mind writing poems about your hair and face, Zamri. Well, Zamri, if you know my life, you will say what the world is going on. I'm gonna write a poem. The title will be Zamri Frozen in Time. Heck yeah. That would be awesome. I can imagine that you would do something good with it. Please write your lives away, my amazing people, followers. Let's see, what else? Cleaning. Getting started on cleaning a home and a car. And I know that earlier I mentioned that anything that resembles work, I just try to avoid. But getting started on that is also challenging. You guys know how I've been saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna wash the car and I'm going to vacuum it. Well, I did wash the car, and on that very day, of course, it rained, so it got muddy and all kinds of gunk in it again. And then I still have not vacuumed it, and I haven't vacuumed it in about 2.5 years, and that bothers me like crazy. But like I said, it's been hectic, and there have been days when I say to myself, okay, this is going to be a day designated for me. Well, guess what? Particularly on those days, I am not thinking about making myself busy at all. So, once again, cleaning the car is something that reminds me of work. So, no, I am going to have another lazy ass day. And if I were really that concerned about the cleanliness of my vehicle, I would definitely pay to have it done. I will get to it when I get to it, period. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with my car and the cleaning, in case you wondered. I figured it out. I know why Zamri is frozen. Her ranting literally broke YouTube. Oops. Imagine if this were a huge channel. Well, for starters, I would have Wi-Fi in the house to avoid this shitty reception and hopefully have a better device to be streaming from, like a computer or something. But I also feared that one day, if I were to have a lot of people dropping comments, I won't be able to have a good quality time doing this, because catching up with a comment and reading it, and some people will post good stuff, but other people are going to be like worshiping me, going like, Zamri, oh my god, you're amazing and you're so pretty and you're so cute and I love your hair, blah blah blah. Like so many compliments. Compliments are awesome. Compliments are good. I love them. They make me feel great. But I would love for people who take the time to interact with someone to tell them something that they can really expand on. Like, challenge me mentally, ask me some questions and stuff. But that worshiping aspect is what I don't like about, say, the folks who are in the public light. Like, no, these people are not perfect. They are not deities. Leave them alone. And of course, another thing that I will always wonder, how the hell do you start it, is a business. Something so cool, something so important, something so empowering. How do you even consider a business? How do you even get one started? No one tells you about it. There's like no school for this. Yeah, to start a business, you need loans. Well, what do you need to get a good loan? Oh, you need good credit. Well, how do you get good credit? Oh, you need to be making transactions in credit. Well, how can I make transactions in credit if I don't have money? Stuff like that. And of course, the different kinds of businesses. There's stuff like LLCs and corporations and franchises and the law and the stuff that's regulated and the stuff that isn't. Just talk to me about some business. But of course, no one wants to have that conversation because that can empower people, and it's better to keep people without a lot so that they can be easily controlled. And of course, earlier I mentioned the aspect of researching history, so I guess I am done with the stuff that I wanted to mention. I have really enjoyed this stream. It has been pretty fun and satisfactory, especially since Wolfus is here. Yes, cleaning the house and fixing the house and even shoes, but every time people washing the care, it's starting to rain. Yeah, another thing that's happened to me every single time without failing is when I buy something that is expensive and it is an electronic device, it is always raining. When I bought my PS2 for the first time, it was raining. The second time I bought it, because my that first one got stolen when someone broke into my house. Once again, it was raining. When my mom got me my iPod Touch, third generation, back in 2009, once again, it was raining. When mom and I got what is now my car, it rained later that night. So yeah, basically anytime we get something fancy, it rains. Oh, and when I got my keyboard, it also rained. So yeah, weird. Let's see. What is the witchness of why? Don't trip me. You know I'm pretty gullible. Yes, Amber, you're right. I just wanted to say that Wolfus is my number one follower here. I mean, Wolfus is just the best. Wolfus words I have found to be the words of wisdom. I just don't know what I would do without his guidance. Zamri, that kind of business, what kind of business do you wanna I want to start my own movie company. That's awesome. I know so many people who would love careers in the movie industry. And particularly, I have met so many folks who want to be movie directors. So that's definitely a lucrative business. But I guess the challenging aspect of it would be to be competitive, especially when you're a newborn company and you're trying to access a industry that is already, what can I say, saturated in a sense. So yeah, but it's not impossible. It's just that it's a factor to consider depending on what your goals are. Um, let's see, where am I at? Let's see if Zimri falls for it. Of course I fell for it. I read everything, so it will sound like that came straight from my mind. But of course, I was reading off a script. Okay, where am I at? Car, Ahmed, I'm sorry. Anyone want to take bets that Zimri falls for it? I got $5 down that she does. I want to start my own computer like Twitter, Instagram, different that people will love. I guess you mean company. Innovation. Oh, thank you for those kind words about me, Zam Zam. That was the nicest thing you have ever said about me. The movie industry is corrupt and degenerate, not to mention nothing original has come out of Hollywood in decades. Tell me about it. I always ask around, am I tripping or are people literally taking stuff that already came out and just remaking them for some reason? A lot of movies that are getting remakes that nobody fucking asked for. So, of course, if a movie had like a terrible, terrible rating, I think it deserves to be considered for a reboot of some sort. But come on, when you take, say, Disney stuff and now you're turning it live action, is that really necessary? I mean, of course, it'll generate revenue, but I don't think it's necessary. Uh, it's all remakes and sequels. Yeah, exactly. Funny thing is, I'll disappear for a few months again and again, and then we'll forget all about me. Well, how about this? To make yourself an unforgettable character, stick around. Yes, remakes, movies are very whack. I cannot leave it alone. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure, but I think I am going to bail now. Because I'm starting to feel some type of way again, and my nose is also starting to get congested, and I'm just kind of tired. So it's been a pleasure, but I'll be back definitely later today since it's already past midnight. Not sure what topic I'll bring, but I'll try to keep it interesting. Let's see. Why do I feel dirty when Zamzam swears? Good night, sweet angel. They cannot leave it alone. I'm sorry. Bye bye. Alright, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon. And Wolfus, for the love of God and the life of me, be nice. Nah, just kidding. You are always nice. Just one.